fees for attendees. The watchwords are keep it simple and maximize networking time. PPIR chapters meet 3 times monthly at different locations after normal business hours. For information on this, call 352-615-9412 or go to events at ppirevents.com. PPIR, professional people in real estate.
All right. Sorry for the technical problems we were having. I think now we have Dan Martone and Galen Unold sounding a little bit better. They're down at the Mecum auctions down in Kissimmee. Guys, you're on.
Hey, all right, Larry, this is a great time to be on. There's the DeLorean rolling across the floor right now, and it looks pristine. We're wrapping up what looks like Rolls Royce, I think, that's rolling through, or Mercedes or something. I can't see it, but I'm more interested in the DeLorean. That one, the white one was an Audi?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't worry about that.
So we're at lot number A17, and again, there's so many lots. It's really, really fun. There's no picture of it in the book itself, so
this is a surprise entry.
Yeah. So let's see what this goes for. I mean, the great thing about it, obviously made famous by Back to the Future.
It's an icon.
Yeah. Without that movie, this car is borderline ridiculous.
Yeah, there's so many cars, though. Think about how the movies have just dictated car sales.
Oh, absolutely.
And to this day, car sales in the movie industry have great relationship.
Made Mustang in a lot of ways, that new Mustang. Yeah.
Oh.
But honestly, without Back to the Future, that car right there, they're asking 24 now.
Oh, it's up to 24.
And that car, and I'm not kidding, is a $5,000 car because it is so heavy.
Oh, it was heavy. It had a Volvo V6 in it, didn't it?
It was brutal. Yeah. I mean, the gull-wing doors are what made the thing cool.
Well, the structural frame, the gull-wing is there because of the structure. They actually put solid bars right below those doors to keep the weight down, to keep it a true sports car. They just underpowered it.
Yeah.
But there's the purists and the retro mods. So the purists want to keep it exactly the same. The resto mod guys want to put a nice new turbo engine in it.
Yeah, I don't know what the point of putting a new turbo engine in.
Well, you can go down the street and up a hill, that's why. Because this thing won't even go, it won't get out of its own way the way it is. It's a terrible engine.
Heavy. Heavy.
It's terrible, but it's a good quality build of car.
Sure. No doubt about that. You know, it is the, Tesla, and I think last year we were here, we talked about Teslas and what they're going to be.
Tesla has done so much different things in the last year.
I don't know if Tesla can survive.
That's been the question, everybody. That's been the stockholders' question. Elon Musk, he got booted out of his own company, basically.
Getting high on a podcast with Joe Rogan. But again...
Well, that wasn't the firing reason. That was because of the insider information.
He makes bad decisions.
Yeah. $31,000. So
for a DeLorean.
If you have a spare 31, we looked at one. Legitimately looked at one.
Really?
Not 7-8 years ago. Yeah. And we could have got it for $6,000.
Wow.
And we thought, it's a DeLorean. Maybe the market won't hold. Apparently it held.
Apparently.
20.
Yeah, I don't know if I've sat in one. I think I sat in one at Dragon Con because it was a.
Yeah, the display.
They made it to look like
Back to the Future. That's the same one I rode in.
Yeah.
We had one come around and we rode in that one. Now, from a DeLorean to a 64 Chevy pickup, these things have just gone crazy.
You're a truck guy now. You got a new truck and got rid of that ugly yellow truck.
Yeah, but me and the bank are I'm making some hefty payments to the bank because I had to get a new truck because the old one finally, but the truck market has just exploded. This was a $600 truck.
And you look
it's going across the line for $16,000
look at Ford making the decision to basically only make Mustangs and trucks.
Yeah, same with Chevy though. They're doing the same thing.
It just tells you that the market is driving it. Now, behind that truck is another one of those Fox body Mustangs that you love so much. It's a 1999 Ford Mustang GT.
That's not the Fox body.
You're right. What do they call that? It's a Golf, but the G body something.
Yeah, G body.
But it's similar enough to the Fox body that nobody knows the difference. This is a car that when it came out I thought was kind of ugly.
Yeah.
You either are a Mustang guy or you're not. I know you're a Mustang guy.
I'm a picky Mustang guy. I don't like these.
You like the Mach. I like the Boss 302.
Everybody likes the Boss 302. It's an icon.
Because it doesn't have that elongated nose. But yeah, it's on the cover of the
I think the elongated nose and the tail.
I hate it.
It does something to it. It makes it look like it's going down the road at 1 million miles an hour.
Man, I love that we disagree on that.
When it's standing still. The car, I mean, if you think about this, a car is an emotional thing, period.
No doubt
It's really
about it.
kind of useless.
There's no doubt about it.
Ford is getting rid of cars. Chevy's getting rid of cars.
It's one of two things. It's either utilitarian,
That's an SUV.
or no, a car can be utilitarian. It gets you from A to B. You don't. If somebody took it from you tomorrow, you would only be upset about
That's
the
what I call a
money you
sport
lost.
utility vehicle. They don't call a car a utility vehicle.
No. Yes, you do. Right. So if somebody took that, I'm going to give you the market value for that car. If you never saw it again, you would be okay with that. Your truck.
I'd be okay with that.
If
That's
they
the
gave
only
you
vehicle I
market
had.
value, they give you fair market value.
Who?
Whatever moron wants to buy the truck.
You talking about old yellow?
Yeah,
Whoa.
that is an ugly truck.
It's a truck, though.
I'm trying
It
not
has
to
a
curse
purpose.
how ugly it is.
It has value because it can hold something.
Okay,
It can
but
tow
again,
something.
Not every car is an emotional attachment.
I think at this point we're getting to that point because they're Ford
When
and
was it not?
Chevrolet are both I mean, so Ford and Chevrolet are both getting rid of their vehicles, right? They're getting rid of the cars. Why are they getting rid of the cars?
They're not selling.
Because they're useless. The car has only a certain amount of things you can do with it, whereas an SUV is more versatile. Truck, more versatile. A truck with 4 doors and 4 seats, more versatile than a car.
Yeah, well, it's twice the cost, too.
But a car,
There's no imports that can compete with it.
well, the
You
trucks,
could have a Ford Fusion or you could have a Honda Accord. Everybody but you would want the Honda Accord.
Ford did real well with the Fusion.
It's an ugly car, drives like crap.
It drives wonderfully. Why would you say
Oh,
drives like
I had one.
You had the
forget.
wrong model.
Oh, here we go.
You had the base.
Oh, here we go.
You had to get the SE.
I can't afford it.
Well,
I think when you have an emotional attachment to your car, when it's got a name, when you've got memories in it, it's hard to put a price tag. Mecum does a good job.
I was going to say, I think they could put a price tag on it. I think for enough money, yeah, price tags go away.
Well,
All right,
Let's step.
your Mustang there.
Yeah. How much did it go for?
11,500.
Yeah, 11.5.
11.5 for a 1999 Ford Mustang.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's step aside because JK is supposed to come right at 10:30. I hope he's supposed to be.
All right, we'll take a little break, a little news,
Yeah, let's
a little
do it.
weather.
Yeah.
All right, Larry, we're going to throw it back to you in the studio, reporting live from the Mecum Auto Auction in Kissimmee. I'm Dan Martone for Galen Unold. We'll be right back.
All right, we'll be right back with Dan and Galen in just a bit. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Attention WOCA listeners. Do you or someone you know have an outgoing personality with great organizational skills? Well, WOCA is looking for a few good people to join our marketing reps team. You get to meet other great people and business leaders in our community. WOCA Radio offers flexible schedules, great income potential, and some really great fringe benefits too. So if you enjoy talking to people and getting paid to do it, this may be the right choice for you. Apply within or send your resumes to careers@WOCA.com.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. The strong monthly jobs report, 312,000 new jobs were created in December, though the unemployment rate rose to 3.9%.
The largest gains in jobs were in the healthcare sector. 50,000 jobs gained in healthcare. That's the largest increase since 1990 when the records were kept. But the unemployment rate ticked up, and that's mainly because of job leavers.
Fox Business Network's Edward Lawrence. With Democrats now in control of the House, President Trump meets again this morning with congressional leaders about the partial government shutdown.
The House passed a pair of spending bills designed to reopen the government, but they have no chance of becoming law because neither provides funding for a border wall. One measure funds most government agencies through September. The other deals with the Homeland Security Department separately, keeping it open for another month. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the upper chamber will not take up measures the president will not sign.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. This is Fox News.
When it comes to your identity and the personal information on your devices, there's no soundtrack to let you know you're in danger. Today's digital world is so connected, it just takes one weak link for criminals to get in. Good thing LifeLock now adds the power of Norton Security. LifeLock uses proprietary technology to detect threats like your personal info for sale on the dark web. And Norton Security helps protect up to 5 devices from ransomware and other online threats. Plus, if you have a problem, our agents will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But with LifeLock, we can help alert you to danger. Join now and get an additional 10% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com now and use promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS to save 10%. LifeLock with Norton. More detection, more protection.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. At least 7 people are dead and 7 others injured after a fiery crash on I-75 north of Gainesville. 2 tractor-trailer rigs and 2 passenger vehicles were involved in the crash. A head-on collision claimed the life of a 47-year-old woman and seriously injured a 34-year-old man on South US 301 in Summerfield last night. Legislation filed by a Florida state senator would make smoking tobacco on public beaches illegal in Florida. Only 4 out of 41 railway systems in the United States successfully met an important January 1st deadline to have computer technology installed to prevent train accidents. At least 3 of those railway systems passed through Central Florida, including Sunrail. And the Florida Senate agreed to pay $900,000 to a female legislative aide who accused a former senator of sexual misconduct. She claimed Senator Jack Latvala inappropriately touched her in an elevator and would stare at her chest a lot. And that is your news brief from The Source.
On this Friday, some intervals of clouds and sunshine and remaining warm. It'll become breezy this afternoon with a shower or thunderstorm later on. Highs ranging from 76 in the northernmost part of the zone to 86 in the south. It'll be mostly cloudy Friday night with a brief shower or two, mainly early, lows generally in the 50s by morning. Tomorrow will be a cooler day as clouds give way to increasing sunshine. The high 66 in the northern part of the zone, 72 in the south. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Ask yourself, what do you pay for health care? Are you single? Do you pay more than $199 a month? Are you a couple? Do you pay more than $249 a month? Do you have a family? Do you pay more than $529 a month? Yes, you can serve the entire family with health care for only $529 a month. Sign up at any time of the year, pick your own doctor and hospital, ask any questions in our live chat box. It takes 2 minutes to find out how to save. Go to lightyourliberty.com. That's lightyourliberty.com.
All right, let's see, 26 minutes before 11 o'clock, 76 degrees. Temperatures are expected to climb to 80 today, so it's going to be a little bit warmer than we originally forecast this morning, and there's still a chance of rain later on. There's, in fact, a 100% chance of rain still mentioned in the forecast at around 4 o'clock, and maybe, if we're lucky, by 6 o'clock, by the time First Friday Art Walk kicks off, for the first time in 2019, by the way. Maybe by then the rain will be gone. Right now, I think the weather is doing pretty good down in Kissimmee. That's where Dan Martone and Galen Unold are broadcasting from at the Mecum auctions. And let me go back to them. Galen and Dan, we're back.
Hey, Larry. So, welcome back. This is Dan Martone and Galen Unold reporting live from the Mecum Auto Auction here in Kissimmee. And we've seen a lot of cars rolling across the floor. If you have a chance, come down, visit it in person. It's an experience. To come down here is just... it's just nothing else you can really compare to it, because you get to actually go up and see these cars close up, these collector's cars, these thousands and thousands and thousands of man-hours poured into some of these cars.
So I got to tell you a story. And by the way, this auction isn't just today. It goes all the way through January 13th.
Yeah. So we got a whole other week.
Tickets are cheap. So last year I came with my 2 boys, and my son turned 18 yesterday, and my youngest, he's going to turn 15 tomorrow, and he's 6'4". And so he's like, "Dad, can I sit in this Ferrari?" And I'm like, it was a Lamborghini.
I noticed that, yeah. I picked up on that.
And so he gets in the car, and this guy walks up and he goes, "Why are you sitting in my car?"
Ooh, no.
And I said, "Well, I didn't know if he'd fit." He goes, "He needs to get out of my car."
Wow.
And then I started talking to him like, "Wow, how fast have you been in this car?" I'm like, 205 miles an hour. I'm like, "That's not possible. This car doesn't go 205 miles an hour." And he goes, "Let me show you the hood." So he pulls out the back, and he's got 2 twin turbos on this Lamborghini. And I started talking to him.
I mean, if you're going to do it.
He owned 3 of them. He owns all 3. I said, "What do you do?" He goes, "This is what I do. I these cars, I make them supercars or hypercars, and then I sell them." And then I'm in the black one, and then 10 minutes later he's like, "Hey, hey, I wonder if you could fit in a Redwood. So he asked my son if he could sit in a Redwood.
Nice.
So it was, it's that kind of a car culture.
Once you talk to the guy, he realized, 6'4" is a good test subject.
He just loved the cars, and I said, well, how many cars are you going to buy? He goes, it depends on if I sell all three.
Well, when you're looking at a Toyota today that matches supercar performance of 20 years ago,
well,
it's just incredible.
Well,
some of these, you have to upgrade them.
Maybe 30 years ago, not 20 years ago.
Well, look at your original Acuras, the NSX.
Yeah,
look at today's.
Yeah. Well, now it's got, it's. I get what you're saying, but there were cars that were doing 200 miles an hour.
You're just talking about the Fusion, all right?
Oh God.
It's a 4-cylinder with 220 power.
Really?
That was non-existent 20 years ago.
That's fair. That's fair. They could really get a lot out, and turbos are so much better than they were, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, they were this loud, obnoxious thing that sort of supposed to work, and nobody could really tune it to get your mix right. So
the electronics of today, getting that mix perfectly right with the fuel and the economy and the horsepower that they're getting out of these vehicles is absolutely impressive. There's nothing else that can compare. That's what I'm going to do. I'm a fan of the resto mods, taking an old car and sticking some new technology in it. Now, there are those diehard fans that just simply will not do that. They got to keep it just 100% original, and that's great for that portion. I'm not nothing against it, but just not for me personally.
And there's that fine line between whether a car has any value in its original condition versus, a car that you go ahead and turn into a driver. And that's a great thing about Mecum is you can pick up a driver here that you could take to the car show and the next day take to work.
Yeah.
So as long as you have the garage space.
So car shows and dog shows, kind of the same thing. You buy a lot of money and put it into something to get zero out of it. So, again, an emotional attachment, because what else are you going to do where you put so much money into something to get zero out of it?
Yeah. Have you ever had a car where you just went out into the garage and kind of just took a rag and just kind of rubbed on it, or opened up the hood and just checked the fluids even though you had done it the day before?
Oh, yeah. Well, motorcycles, cars, pretty much everything.
Look, here comes Smokey and the Bandit. What a great looking car. It's on the left. I know you can't see, Dan.
Yeah, it's hard for me to see from that. I can see the angle a little bit, but you got a better angle for over there.
You can't see. You're blind. I don't know how you're
So
a pilot.
if that one was signed by Burt Reynolds, that's going to make a big difference since his passing last year.
Well, that's a perfect car that whether or not is drivable. Maybe.
They were drivable then.
I mean, it was in 1977. But it's so heavy, so bulky. The turn radius on that was almost zero.
It's a truck.
And it just didn't have any performance. It looks phenomenal.
Well, that's the whole point.
It's still one of my favorite looking cars. That Trans Am, and it's the Smokey and the Bandit car. It's just phenomenal. I'm such a huge fan of it. But I would much rather have that as a resto mod than an original.
Yeah, the problem with the originals is the brakes, the steering, the handling,
the air conditioning.
Yeah, everything is stepped up
the
to the
transmission.
Well, yeah. You have, what, 4 speeds?
Yeah.
6 in a regular sedan.
And it couldn't get it over like 4,000 RPMs without it smoking.
No, and now you have paddle shifters on a
Yeah, and the seats in that car are always good. I always liked because they had that long top, and it was always a well-sitting. And I like the inside of a Trans Am.
Well, again, that comes to personal note, because then there's the whole put your hood higher than your tail. That is I'm not a fan.
I'm the reverse.
I'm too.
I always like the reverse.
I will agree with you on that one.
So
I am curious to see if this has a on it.
No.
Burt Reynolds one.
It wouldn't be on a third. It wouldn't be on the Friday. It would be next Friday or Saturday.
Or Saturday, maybe.
Yeah. Well, here's a good option. So, coming across the block right now is a Mercedes-Benz convertible, $8,000. That's crazy, isn't it?
What number is that one?
J28. So this was a late edition car, so we don't have much stats on it.
It's a 2000 Mercedes-Benz. It's the CLK 350 convertible.
Oh, okay.
So I do have the stats.
What year?
2007.
For $8,000.
So
now
there's
it's going
a great
10.
example.
That's a good investment.
So you can come here and get
Silver, it's a beautiful car.
And that's what a lot of people are here for, too. They're not just for the emotional portion. Some are here for strictly investments, because they see a car and they say, hey, I'm going to take a chance that this car is going to go up in value in the next 5 years.
And if not, you could drive it. That's a daily driver right there. And
who's here with us today? We got Jay Leno. I think is he here today?
I don't know if he's going to be here today or next weekend. But there's always somebody here.
Well, there's a great guy that he knows how to pick an investment car.
Well, he can make a mistake.
He can make a lot of mistakes.
You know what I mean? That for you and I, if we invested that, we couldn't afford the mistake.
That's why we don't invest in those.
Yeah, well, we have wives, too, who would beat us.
Yes.
You did what? You bought a smoking... No, my wife had that car, the Trans Am, in high school, except hers was red. If I bought her a red Trans Am, she would love me more.
Yeah, that's true.
Long time.
You should do that. Forget...
All right, looks like we lost the signal. You guys there? Okay, we lost the signal. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA Ocala.
Announcing Gemma Adams in concert. We'd like to invite you to an awesome dual concert Friday, January the 11th at Christ Church of Marion, 6768 Southwest 80th Street. RSVP is required for dinner, served at 5:15 p.m., and the concert will start promptly at 6:30 p.m. Backwater Bluegrass will open up, followed by hit recording artist Gemma Adams.
Jesus loves you. Don't matter if you're lost or found, if you're rising, if you're falling, hell-bent or heaven-bound.
Gemma Adams, singer, songwriter, and musician with 2 hit songs on 3 different charts. A large crowd is expected, so make reservations now at 352-861-6182.
Every sinner has a future. Every angel has a past.
The Great American Menu lives at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. Sizzling steak burgers made fresh when you order. Premium beef hot dogs, crispy shoestring fries, and Freddy's rich and creamy custard made fresh throughout the day. The classic taste enjoyed by generations of American families. Served every day at Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. With the most American ingredient of all, a smile. Freddy's Frozen Custard and Steak Burgers. The taste that brings you back.
All right, it's 10:43. Let's return now to Dan Martone and Galen Unold at the Mecum auctions in Kissimmee.
All right, thank you very much, Larry. We are broadcasting live right here, as Larry said, from the Mecum Auto Auction here in Kissimmee, and we just watched the Bandit car roll across.
What did it go for? It's still up there.
What a treat. It's at 22 right now.
Yeah.
$22,000. What a treat. I love watching those cross. It's a 79 Trans Am. Now, I didn't hear if it had any Burt Reynolds ties to it or not.
Probably not.
Probably not, but that's okay. At 23, probably not. That's the ticket there. So, big Burt Reynolds fan myself, I was saying before the break. You too? All right. Galen, why don't you introduce our guest?
So, right now we're joined by JK and John. We listen to you every year at all these Mecum Auto Auctions all across the country, and it's a real treat to get somebody with your brain power on something as foolish as cars. But we love them.
Well, maybe for some people, a lifestyle for us car guys.
Yeah.
800 great cars. This auction being the world's largest car auction.
It's just astonishing. This will go 11 days. 3,500 cars, and we're hoping, we got our fingers crossed, wish us luck, we're hoping for $100 million in sales.
Wow. Wow. So we were talking earlier, and I think you're a good guy to ask. Are cars when you buy a car today, is it any less of an emotional attachment than, say, 20 years ago? And not just you personally, but do you think as a culture it's becoming less personal?
Well, certainly in the news, there's a lot of talk about trucks and SUVs kind of overtaking the traditional sedans. We know that generally, with the exception of a few performance cars, that the conventional cars, sedans, are kind of going by the wayside. Not because people don't necessarily want them. The manufacturers are kind of saying the word is, hey, it costs us a lot of money to make these cars. We're not making the money we are on some of the other brands, and they're deciding to drop them. But let's fast forward to this particular auction. This is a celebration of the automobile. We have automobile history spanning back 100 years, and trends aren't going to be seen here on the auction block as quickly as they are in the new car showrooms. So I think that cars, especially cars built, let's say, within the past 50 years are going to continue to be very highly sought after, not only with the aging boomers, the baby boomers that primarily driving this market, but a whole new generation of enthusiasts that right now is maybe a little bit too young and really maybe can't afford to play. But in another 10 to 20 years, that could shift
Maybe that'll
around.
be me, Dan.
Well, you don't. Yeah, I'm hoping. You look through the catalog here, and you see interesting-looking cars. You see cars with style, some panache, some flair. You don't see Nissan Altimas. Nothing against Nissan Altimas, but you don't see those. And that, I think, is where the market is speaking and saying, these are boring cars. We can at least make boring SUVs. They can make some money and have some more utilitarian value to it. But here, you have emotion. You have that flair for the dramatic on these curves and these lines and the tips and the wings and the 50s caddies. I mean, it's just that each one has an emotional attachment. When you look at it, you feel something. You don't feel anything when you go to an Altima. You feel like you just...
And again, JK, is there a car here that just like, wow, I can't believe that car is at this auction and I get to get up close to it?
Are we talking about today or the whole auction?
The whole auction.
Because he probably knows the whole list by heart.
Yeah, he probably does.
There's actually there's two different cars. One is actually a pair of cars that's selling as a pair, but there's actually two different cars that the collector car world is focused on. Number one, of course, the star of the show, the number one main attraction on the 3,500 cars is a 1965 Ford GT. That car is expected, are you guys sitting down? Expected to fetch in the $10 million range for one car. That's more money than we'll generate at some of our smaller auctions with 600 and 700 cars.
Okay, so is it number one? What is that's a lot of money.
Well, the legend of the Ford GT has been told many times, but just to give you sort of a snapshot, it's the car that was developed as a result of Ford and Ferrari not being able to get together on a merger back in the 1960s. And Henry Ford II, known as the Deuce, said, we are going to go after Ferrari with everything we have. They said, no expense spared. And this particular car, the Ford GT, was one of the original prototypes that actually raced at Le Mans in the
That's right.
Wow.
It's only had two owners, Ford Motor Company and one other owner. Since new, it's been restored back to 1965 specs.
Didn't they take the top 3 spots in that race?
Yeah.
Well,
in Le Mans.
In 1966, the next year after this prototype, this car did not finish the race. There was a mechanical problem.
Okay.
But in 1966, the Ford GT finished first, second, third, and won Le Mans 66, 67, 68, and 69. Mission accomplished for Ford. And it all started with the Ford GT here.
So, wow.
Yeah.
Prototype.
A prototype Ford GT expected.
I'm going to need a loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
front pocket money? Just quick, low interest, right?
The reality is that car will sell for more than the average person that's going to make it their entire lifetime. How's that for a perspective?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what was the second car? Because you said there were two.
I'm still GT. I know.
The second car is actually a pair of cars. These are what are known as the Corvette styling cars.
Yes.
63 and a 64 Corvette that were never intended to be around all these years later. These were styling exercises, very well documented. One's a 63 convertible, one's a 64 coupe, right in that heart of that Generation 2 Corvette run. And these cars have been restored, fully documented, and selling as a pair. You can't buy one, you got to buy both, of course. Expected to bring north of $1 million for the pair of the Corvette. So, to me, it's not all about the most expensive cars.
Now, was this the pair that was found in the garage and then restored?
Yep, yeah, exactly. So, and the Ford GT, a similar story. The Ford GT was acquired by a guy in the mid to late 60s and essentially forgotten up until his passing about 5 years ago.
Wasn't it supposed to be destroyed?
They were not supposed to survive. The styling Corvettes and the Ford GT, none of those were supposed to survive, which I think adds to the allure and certainly adds to the rarity and ultimately the price on the auction.
One, you were never supposed to have it. It's not supposed to exist.
Yeah. And talking about Corvettes, is that the hands down, no matter what model comes out, it's going to be a collectible, do you think? Generally speaking.
You're talking about Corvettes in general?
Corvettes in general. Like, even the latest bodies are, Stingrays. Growing up, I would have never thought that a Stingray in 1980 would have been collectible, but now here it is.
Well, this auction is a really good cross-section, a good example of what's happening in the entire collector car world. 3,500 cars. Guess what the number one in quantity, the number one brand car is at this auction?
Corvette.
about approximately 10% of the entire inventory at a Mecum collector car auction, representing really the whole spectrum of the collector car market, are Corvettes. The answer to that question is yes.
And number two would probably be Mustangs.
It has to be.
Maybe you have to put in there Camaro,
yeah,
Mustang. We'll put those in maybe in the second tier, and then a third tier. We'll put in maybe cars like Chevelle, maybe some of the Mopars, the Cudas, the Challengers. Chargers, we'll put those in there, and then the tier below that might be the classic 50s cars, 57 Jeep, 57 Chevy, 59 Cadillac, all of that.
Yeah, it's again, this is our third time being here, and every year.
Well, there you go. There's your Camaro. There's your base that we thought were so ugly.
It is ugly.
But another generation has got to see that for the first time. And to them, that is gold. They haven't seen that. So to a new generation going on a car, that's an 86 piece of gold. And apparently so. It's 15 grand. So
we are seeing cars of the 1980s. Most notably, the car of the block now is a 1980s Camaro Z28. We could put a Fox body Mustang in there as well. Guys, these were the cars, the 40-year-olds of today and the 45-year-olds. These were their dream cars back in the day. And a nice, unmodified example. Guess what's happening to the prices of those right now? They're going up. They're going up.
Sure.
5 years ago, you could have bought this car for $8,000. Now it's $18,500.
Yeah. The Fox body is a great example. He thinks the Fox body is still just is plateaued. I say it's still going.
No. I said right now, I think it's as low as it's ever going to be. I think it'll start to go up, but there's such a dime a dozen. They're everywhere.
But they've all been chopped and modified and destroyed. Yeah. To find that one pristine is a needle in a haystack.
Sure. And that's it. Well, you're both right on target with it's all about condition. And that would be true with these Camaros and Firebirds and the Fox body Mustangs in the 1980s as well. If they are low mileage, original condition, unmodified, those are going to have the top value. Cars that have been restored are going to be the second tier, and the cars that are still in that day two modified, which are a lot of them, they can still be bought for that $5,000 to $10,000 price range. Well, pretty nice car.
I want to see the one that I saw in the showroom, so I don't want it all messed up by somebody else.
Exactly.
When I was a kid and I rolled up to the showroom and I saw that new Camaro, I was like, oh, I want that. That's my dream car. You want to see that in your head when you come to an auction and get that.
And you never know. Who would have thought that an El Camino would ever be a collectible? Yeah. I mean, you either love El Caminos
I know.
or you hate them.
I know. I'm a fan.
Now I'm like, I kind of like them.
I'm a fan.
But back growing up, I'm like, oh, you have an El Camino.
Oh, your wife hates him. You
couldn't afford a real car?
Well, I had a Ranchero growing up.
Okay, that's even worse.
No, bigger engine, more power. You know, I had the 351 Windsor, so it had some juice to it. What did the Chevy have in it?
You just said an El Camino had juice to it.
No, I said a Ranchero.
Yeah. Well,
the mullet of collector cars.
It is.
Rancheros and El Camino.
It is.
Love it or hate it.
Right.
I think I love it.
I'm with you.
I dig them.
So there's one coming across, and that is a beautiful example. That's obviously been restored. I mean, it's got better wheels on it. That paint job coming out of showroom was never that good, ever, the way it's glistening. But again, it's a great example.
81 Land Cruiser.
It's a Land Cruiser.
It's an 81 Land Cruiser.
Anyway, I just love this show. I brought my boys last year, and they're like, Dad, I'm coming back. And they're 15 and 18, and as Dan said, they're getting a taste of what cars used to be. It's not just something you get from A to B. It's something you loved and you lived, and you stand out in the garage and just touch. And I'm hoping that this can continue. Yeah,
I think that it will, and here's why. Here's what we're seeing right now. We're just in the sort of the early stages of seeing vintage cars that are being very heavily, and when I'm talking about investment-grade performance cars, LS6 Chevelles, Pontiac GTOs with their original engines. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about cars that are from the 60s and the 70s that are being modified. Resto-mods, Pro Touring, huge part of the collector car world, and it's a much younger demographic getting involved in that.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
And also, I think imports are really starting to come up. With your Datsun 240s, your Datsun 280s.
Oh, they're talking about bringing those back, too. Did you see the new concept for the Datsun 210? I mean, those are neat-looking cars. It had some style to it.
That was my favorite car growing up, was that 280ZX. I just thought that was the coolest thing in the world.
Here's the problem with those cars. Great cars, and yes, they are collectible and good condition, but they were just never sold, imported in the big quantities like the American cars from the 60s and 70s that make up the bulk of the current collector car world. That's the little bit problem, but are they a force to be reckoned with? Absolutely. Lots of fans of quality Japanese cars.
260, 240, you go back a little further.
Yeah,
Right? And
that whole body style, kind of like the Jag.
Well, that's where they cut it from. I mean, that was today they would get sued. I mean, if you tried to pull that off today, there'd be a lawsuit.
Well,
I mean, that was a Jag
They all steal from each other.
to a degree.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about the Ford lawsuit with the trucks way back when.
Sure.
And they took it and Dodge said, no. That's our
That's a good
design.
point. All right, so JK, we got you for a couple of more minutes. Talk about the broadcast. When are you guys on live, etc.?
Yeah, this is a crazy schedule here. Keep in mind, it's justified because actually with a 1 hour special that they're for out of the block. So we're going to be live for 1 hour fight next Tuesday. We begin my coverage of block action on next Wednesday at noon until 6. That'll be 6 hours straight nonstop on NBCSN. And that same schedule is copied and duplicated Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then Saturday, we kick it up a notch. We get an extra hour. And we're going to be doing an hour's worth of taping after each night and putting those shows together. Not a best of, just continued block 4 days. All begins next week.
On Saturday, do you get an hour earlier or an hour later?
On Saturday, we actually are going to be starting 30 minutes later. We start at 12:30 on Saturday.
Okay.
And it is a lengthy, complicated schedule. I just want to give a shout out to our folks at NBCSN for allowing us to dominate the NBCSN program.
Yeah.
They have given us carte blanche on being able to bring this auction to the world.
And one of my favorite shows on NBCSN is when you guys do the top 10 Mecum moments.
Yeah.
That is so much fun. I'm like, wow, because you learn so much about
I think
the
you just
car.
like because you were here. Oh, I was there. Look, you can see me in the back. I'm a dot.
Helps, but no, I mean, honestly, that's when you really get into that pedigree that we talk about so much with a car. And I just love it. $7,000.
$7,000.
You and I could buy that together.
We should do that. Our wives will love us for 1 less minute of our life.
This is cool because it's an 85 El Camino, not a particularly valuable car by any standard, but they've got good lines. The biggest engine you could get in one of these was a 305. You know what? Any small block Chevrolet. How about a 383 stroker transplant? Buy a $4,000 383 stroker transplant on 400 horsepower, plug it into this car, and for less than $10,000, you've got something that looks cool, and it's going to be really fun to drive.
You'd have to change the rear end because we'd probably rip off. That's a solid rear end, right? It's a one.
Just wait till it fails.
It'll fail sooner or later. And then do something else.
Again, there's so much fun. I know we've talked about it, but this auction is something you have to experience.
I got to ask John, the expert, what engine would you stick in the DeLorean?
Oh, that's a good question.
Wow. Well, the DeLorean is a great car with a pretty lethargic power plant.
Terrible. The Volvo is
that's
just
putting it nicely.
Like 135 horsepower.
Yeah, we had other words for it.
So here's what I would do. Thank you for asking that.
Okay.
Here's what I would do. I would take the lead with some of the folks that. Now, keep in mind, this is a rear engine car.
Correct.
People think it's a mid-engine car. It's not. So you could maybe think of it sort of like a Porsche 911, where the engine literally hangs off the back. And what guys are doing to the 911 that would be ideal for a DeLorean? How about a GM LS conversion?
Really?
Plug that right on the back of that transaxle, and you'd about triple the horsepower.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, you're not adding any more weight to it.
You can't.
Wow, I would have never thought about putting an LS.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Oh, that would be fun to drive. All right,
guys.
All right, that makes me want to go buy a DeLorean.
I told you,
an
we're gonna
LS.
do it. So,
because an LS you can use, you can drive, you can do everything. That's a good thing to end.
John, thank you so much for being with us.
Man, always a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Galen, thank you for being with me this morning. We appreciate everything.
Wait, and again, set your DVR, NBC Sports, for the Mecum Auto Auction. It is incredibly compelling and entertaining.
All right, reporting live, I'm Dan Martone. That's Galen Unold. Back to you, Larry.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Here is your 1-minute news brief. At least 7 people are dead and 7 others injured after a fiery crash on I-75 north of Gainesville. 2 tractor-trailer rigs and 2 passenger vehicles were involved in the crash. A head-on collision claimed the life of a 47-year-old woman and seriously injured a 34-year-old man on South US 301 in Summerfield last night. Legislation filed by a Florida state senator would make smoking tobacco on public beaches illegal in Florida. Only 4 out of 41 railway systems in the United States successfully met an important January 1st deadline to have computer technology installed to prevent train accidents. At least 3 of those railway systems passed through Central Florida, including Sunrail. And the Florida Senate agreed to pay $900,000 to a female legislative aide who accused a former senator of sexual misconduct. She claimed Senator Jack Latvala inappropriately touched her in an elevator and